Welcome to English vocabulary. Let's go straight to the list.
Galah.
Let's try it in a sentence. The music industry event Don't Give Up Your Day Job, where music media and record company types make complete gallows of themselves in the name of charity Malcolm Sargent Cancer Fund for Children, is back. Another example. One of the supporters of keeping Lismore Lake for birds was out collecting signatures for a petition when she swears. A member of the public came up and said you'll keep the birds on the lake if you get rid of the gallows on the council. Next example. The greenies are gallows too.
Eejit.
An idiot.
For example, don't stand there like a gormless eejit. Next example. I suspect he's the eejit who did something similar in the Grand Prix earlier in the year. Next example. Ellie, you eejit, did you leave the taps on?
Lamebrain.
Let's try it in a sentence. If I'd told her I was being a lamebrain and Bruce has been floating around in my mind for God knows how long, she would be all up in my space. Let's check another sentence. Yeah, the big lamebrain, finally releasing my shoulder, spoke out in an unimpressive lisped voice. Another example. Here's another lamebrain whose considerable talents are hampered by an out-of-control belligerency that's better suited to a raucous schoolyard game.
Dumbhead.
Example. You Americans are dumbheads and do not understand simple English. Next example. You are humble and you do not let things go to your head like the other three dumbheads. Let's check another sentence. I was being coy with these dumbheads.
Dumbo.
Example. Time to help dumbos like me and give out a small piece of probable text so at least a few of your prizes can be given out. Another example. After lengthy consideration I decided that the intellectual standard was a bit too high already for some of you dumbos out there, so instead I am starting a review column. Let's check another sentence. That is the best and only plan we have, Dumbo, and I suggest we stick to it like we did before you had your stupid idea.
Dum-dum.
For instance, of course I care for her dum-dum, she's my responsibility. Another example. Because we are free, people can choose to be dum-dums. Another example. Take advantage of him while he's here, you dum-dum.
Knucklehead.
For example. And now we've got these knuckleheads walking around. Next example. I am having a hard time visualizing this, but I'm a knucklehead.
Schmo.
Let's try it in a sentence. No, men's bodybuilding has its niche market, women's bodybuilding has no market, what little market it is made up of schmos and fetishists. Let's check another sentence. The logic here is that if rich, good-looking men start cornering the market on being nice, then the poor ugly schmos of the world will be left with nothing. Next example. The poor schmo had a bad dose of non-complainangitis, that peculiarly British ailment with symptoms which include chronic fear of causing a scene.
Doofus.
Example. Because even though he's a doofus, he is a gentleman. Let's check another sentence. I don't want my guy to give me puppy eyes or beg like a little doofus when he wants something. Next example. If you happen to be short-waisted as well, you look like a doofus with your blouse tucked in.
Mouth breather.
Example. but it doesn't forward a political agenda as much as it perfectly encapsulates the modern view of preteens as miscreant mouth breathers only capable of cursing, not thinking, for effect. Next example. Persons are individuals you know, and they are real, but people are just this bunch of mouth breathers that clog up Brighton every summer. Let's check another sentence. Forget all the mouth breathers in the audience, how do I feel about the record?
Bonehead.
For example, he's not as evil as I thought he'd be, he's kind of a bonehead, but he's not an evil guy. Another example. Maybe I should let him know what a bonehead you are and how you're hurting his chances. Another example. Sure, these guys are boneheads, but the script makes them come off as a bit more intelligent than one might suspect.
Chowderhead.
Example. I think I just coined better blown up than grown up to describe the new crop of anti-war chowderheads, and their childish slogans. Another example. Besides, what chowderhead keeps cracking his bubble gum near the microphone all the time, anyway? Another example. These chowderheads can't seem to get it through their tiny brains that they're dealing with a legal problem now, not a PR problem.
Meathead.
For example. Listen, meathead, do as you're told. Another example. The look may say meathead, but there's a razor-sharp mind behind the tattoos, and it's that intelligence that's sent Rollins to the most interesting places. Next example. Not only were they torturing me into a night away from my work, they were doing it with the addition of meatheads like Stephen.
Peabrain.
Example. These days, guys either were sleazebags, peabrains, clingy, or all three. Next example. You peabrain, do you really think that's gonna work? Let's check another sentence. Put a microphone in front of the peabrain excuse for a man, and he shows his retardation instantly.
Pillock.
Let's try it in a sentence. Why would I want a photograph of a pillock in a tacky golden skirt holding up some fake dagger in an effort to pretend to kill me? Another example. All of which is a roundabout way of saying that I'm a pillock and, in my haste and desire to just write down stuff that I knew, totally forgot about the restrictions on which questions I could answer. Next example. He's a pillock, but being a pillock and being a good writer were never mutually exclusive.
Please feel free to comment on this list. We love to hear from you. If you liked the video, please hit the thumb up and share it. Also, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. By the way, the photos on this video are street photography of London, and don't directly represent the topics. You can find the photographer's Instagram in the description below. If you have any suggestion for the video graphics, please let us know in the comments.